I fucking hate spoilers. So, last month I went to ride Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios. Probably one of my favorite experiences I've ever had in my entire life. Best ride I've ever rode. But there's one thing that I said in the video that I really wanted to talk about, and I hate spoilers so fucking much. I also felt it was wrong of me to rob somebody of that experience. I don't think it's right. This is something that everybody should experience without being spoiled. I think it ruins the experience for people who haven't experienced the ride or a movie or a book or a TV show, any sort of medium. Spoilers are the worst thing to happen ever. But why? I think for me, the biggest reason on the reason why is that it does ruin the experience, and it does kind of take away from everything that is behind it. But why do people like spoilers? That's the question. Why? Why are people unbothered by the spoiler? Why do people enjoy them? Why does it even matter? Well, let's talk about it. And in order for me to talk about it, I want to talk about the things and the reasons why people might like spoilers. And also, maybe the spoilers that has been right in front of our faces. I think one of the big things on the reason why people like spoilers are because they're psychopaths. No, you're not a psychopath if you enjoy a spoiler. But here's the big thing that I've realized is if you know a twist is coming, it almost adds replayability to that particular medium. So imagine if you, and that's kind of where it comes from with a bunch of movies or games. If you knew what was coming and you can foresee it, then you know, okay, this is how it played into all the things that I knew about before, right? How does that make sense now? Knowing that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father helps understand and bridges the gap of what the prequels are. So that way you go back to the prequels. But the thing about the spoilers is that it allows you to go back and then watch that same event happen previously. And it helps. It's like you have unlocked more of that movie, more of that content in your own mind. They haven't got that information yet, but you have gotten that information first. And because you got that information first, then it helps you pick up on little things that you didn't even notice before. So that's probably a good reason why people really enjoy spoilers. The other thing too is that a lot of times spoilers are right in front of our faces, like without us even really noticing it. Just literally in the moment, especially when it comes to movies, they use a technique called foreshadowing, which is a very common storytelling device, which allows you to allow that spoiler or allow that little bit of information that the character doesn't have yet and then include it at the very beginning or in certain pieces before it even happens. Frozen 2 is really big on foreshadowing. In fact, Olaf is used as a foreshadowing device in order to talk about events that have yet to happen. Constantly. He's constantly talking about things that is going to happen. And at one point, he even talks about what the movie was about within the first 10 minutes of the movie. And sure enough, this was what the movie was about. Themes and all. It's crazy. Especially if you can pick up on the foreshadowing part. But a lot of people don't understand the foreshadowing part until you understand the spoiler. And then once you understand what is happening at the end of the movie, and you can exploit that, and you can talk about it, then now you know what's going to happen for future. It's a very interesting storytelling technique that when you catch the foreshadowing, then you can almost predict what's going to happen next. Does foreshadowing ruin the experience for anybody? Not necessarily, especially if you don't have that information first. And a lot of it is about information being passed on. And that's kind of what really that spoiler is all about. Is that once I get that information, what I know about that information, does it change my experience? Does it change how I feel about this particular medium? Because once you have that information, then you kind of decide right then and there if you like it or if you don't like it. For Rise of the Resistance, it was an entire experience that just a little bit of information would have, I think, sullied the first time that you would have rode that ride. And it just kind of makes so much difference of saying, okay, I have this information now. Does it change my opinion? And for some, it doesn't. But for the most part, people still want to have that experience as if they had no information at all. And I think that's really the most important piece, is that if you could eliminate the information outright and then go on as if you didn't have the information and go in there completely clueless, it makes that experience that much more intense and impressive. So on the subject of spoilers, I think it's a really good topic to talk about. And it's probably not going to be a long video where I can just expand more about spoilers. I just personally hate spoilers, and I just wanted to talk about it. Those are one of the big reasons, because for me, if you hate spoilers, and as I hate spoilers, I just think it takes away from the experience. It doesn't take away from the film, doesn't take away from the ride, doesn't take away from any of that stuff. It takes away from the overall experience. And that's the experience of I'm going into a situation where I have zero knowledge and zero information pertaining to this particular subject. If I have zero information pertaining to it, then I don't know what I'm going to get myself into. I don't know what my opinion will be, and I don't know how to align myself in that greater scheme of things. But I just wanted to share my thoughts about how I feel about spoilers, because I hate them. But I also understand why people don't mind them, and why people don't mind spoilers or being spoiled in certain events. I just particularly don't like them. But tell me what you think. Leave your comments down in the chat. I'll respond back to them. I want to hear your thoughts about spoilers. I want to have this discussion. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button, baby. I'm out.
You're annoyed when I talk during the film. It's just another classic that you haven't seen still. Just another ill in the head in the plot. Norman Bates, is that all you got? Might have guessed from the name of the thing. Don't complain that you've never heard the ending of The Crying Game. Well, it's a penis and it's